I'm sure as hell glad that there's no college football today, man. I tell you, I think my nuts are stamped with Timberland.
Yeah, you might. I mean, you're doing a little bit better in baseball and everything than college football. I'm the one excited for college football.
Yeah, the good news is I know how I will hit throughout the course of the season. So off to a rough start means that I'll have a pretty good second half of the year or next part of the season, because it's always worked out to be about the same. You know, whenever you are in one of these ruts, you know, you have to just persevere, because you know that the numbers work, and if what goes down must come back up. So off to a rough start in college football for sure, but I think it'll work out.
Yeah, and see, the thing is too, we place our bets before the game, but the end game, like you could tell yesterday, Ole Miss was going to win. I was shocked. I got them at like minus 12.5 after like the second quarter, and you could tell the floodgates were about to open there.
Yeah, well, I mean, they did get outscored in the second half, but it just on the wrong side to get things started. I'm glad to get back to baseball today as we wind down the season. A couple of things that I like on the scoreboard today. Even baseball, though, has been kind of dinging me a little bit. Every now and then you do run into a cold streak, so make sure you adjust your betting accordingly. I lowered my betting amount because I recognized right away that things weren't working out the way they're supposed to. So hopefully today, mathematically speaking, it's tough to lose 4 or 5 bets in a row at a 50-50 proposition. Once you hit about 6 or 7, it's about a 95% that the next one you're going to pick is a winner. So hopefully that works out to be the same in terms of just math. If you take a quarter and you flip it every time, you can only flip so many times tails in a row before eventually one lands on heads. So I'm hoping to have a few heads today.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been hoping for a turnaround a little bit here, and like I said, football's coming. Week 1 we got. So
yeah, starting on Thursday. I'm going to put up tomorrow that you brought up football. I'm going to put up tomorrow or maybe later today my power rankings to start the NFL here, and we'll talk a little bit about how I use them to create my own lines and get a sense of what the line should be versus what the line is. That can kind of point me in a direction as to games that I might want to investigate a little bit deeper to figure out if I want to take a side or not on one of those games. So we'll talk about that maybe a little bit tomorrow. But for today, let's talk about baseball. We have a bunch of games. I want to get started right away with a game, Sean. The LA Dodgers are going to play the St. Louis Cardinals, and it looks to me like, from what I've read, the Cardinals are going to pitch J.A. Happ. So I want to grab that line with the Dodgers before I can, because I have a feeling it's going to continue to move in the Dodgers' direction. So I'm going to come right out of the gates. The Dodgers beat up on left-handers. They're a much better baseball team than the than the St. Louis Cardinals. I want to grab that minus 160 on the Dodgers while I can.
Yeah, I think that's a good bet. As a matter of fact, I had minus 1.5. I know you don't like the negative run lines, and I got minus 110. It's right there. You probably can get a little bit better.
So you're going to go with that game too?
Yeah, I saw the same thing. The Dodgers didn't list the pitcher, but then now I do see they have Corey Noble going. He's 3-0 with a 3.12 ERA. So
yeah, so minus 108 is the best you can get on the minus 1.5 run. So I think there's a much better run line game. Although I swore I wouldn't run line them, but the run line differential is too big for me to ignore. But I just wanted to come right out of the gates on the LA Dodgers St. Louis thing. So Dodgers are clearly the better team. And according to my analysis, which has not been that good lately, admittedly, at least in terms of the it's not that it's not been good. I mean, everything is time. So over the course of the season, I know how much what my win percent should be. And I know exactly the specifics I'm looking for. So if I go 0-7, that means somewhere along the line, I'll go 8-1 to make up for it. But in any case, the Dodgers do have according to the simulator, about a 74% chance to win this game, which I'm not paying a 74% price to do that. And if you look at my dog is crying over here. She wants to get out of the room. It's too late, sweetheart. You're going to have to wait. So the Dodgers right now are taking in approximately, the bets are 50-50 in terms of tickets, but there is not much of a record on the money as of yet. So right now, you and I are, I guess, accounting for 100% of the money on that spot, Sean.
Yeah, and I think, like you said, this is a good spot. I was just waiting to see what the Dodgers release this pitcher. It looks like they're good to go there, and they beat up lefties. And J.A. Happ's going to give up runs. So
yes, indeed he is. Okay, so Minnesota is another game that's starting pretty soon against Cleveland. Right now, the Cleveland squad is the favorite at minus 126. Is the best number you can get on Cleveland. And the highest number you can take on Minnesota is plus 117.
Yeah, there's too many questions here. John Gant's been okay throughout the year. He's starting to struggle a little bit. And then Aaron Savel's just coming off the injured list. He had a couple of rehab starts, so I don't know how long he's going to go. Too many differentiations here for me to go either way.
I think the Indians or the soon-to-be Guardians are going to be the winners in this game tonight. You got about 90% of the money, about 3/4 of the tickets are on the soon-to-be Guardians. And when you look at the matchup here, Cleveland just has a dominant run line differential at home. And that's despite the fact that early in the year, Cleveland really kind of struggled to find their way offensively. So I feel like you're going to get a good game out of Savell. You have the big-time power ranking advantage, big-time projected winning for the Indians in this spot. So I'm going to go back to $25 on my bets tonight, Sean, on all of them. I'm putting $25 on the Cleveland soon-to-be Guardian Indians winning this game at minus 126.
Yeah, one thing that jumped off, but then I looked and Savell's just coming off the injury and stuff, is the 10.5 seems a little high in this game. But
so I'm going to bet the under?
No, I'm not touching it either way, but that did jump off the page to me that seemed a little high for these two teams in this pitching matchup.
For sure. Detroit and the Pittsburgh Pirates. You can get the Detroit team at plus 100, and the minimum on the Pirates is minus 107. I have a hard time on Pittsburgh minus anything. This game is 50-50 spot. If I was going to do a 50-50 game, the math says I should take the plus 101 on the Tigers.
Yeah, I think I would. Willie Peralta has been pretty good, but Dylan Peters has been really solid lefties, but then Tigers have hit lefties well. So it truly is 50-50 and a pass for me.
Yeah, like I said, on 50-50 games, you got to go ahead and take that money, but the majority of that money is favoring the Detroit squad. About 85 cents on the dollar.
It's hard to believe. Pittsburgh's 5-3 as a favorite this year.
Mm-hmm. They've only been a favorite 8 times.
That's scary. And the Diamondbacks have been the favorite 20 times this year.
Yeah, well, that's pretty scary. The New York Mets, Miami Marlins, big-time favorites of the Mets. To me, they have a really hard time scoring runs. They struggle to score runs, but they are not struggling to take in the betting action. 3/4 of the money is on the team from the Big Apple.
Yeah, they've been hot lately, but I can't back them with Carlos Carrasco going, especially with you're only going to get value if you give up a run and a half, and I'm not doing it with that offense and Carrasco going.
Yeah, plus it's a tough spot for me, too, to take either side because you have to pay way too much for the Mets today, and you're getting way too much. Vegas is really trying to entice you to take them. Is everything all right over there?
Yeah, I dropped my I can't see anything, but I dropped my phone.
Well, Miami is they're really begging you to bet Miami, and they're asking you not to bet the Mets tonight. So under that circumstance, I think I'll just stay away.
Yeah.
Kansas City versus Baltimore.
This is one I'm going to take Kansas City. Jackson Kowar, he finally had a good start last time. He's been good overall in his career, just not good start to this year. And then they play lefties pretty well. I think they're 24-20, and they're getting Alexander Wells. So I'll take Kansas City money line here.
So money line on Kansas City, you're going to get minus 116 is the best number I can find for you on Kansas City. I was looking at this game too, but the ERA stinks. The guy's giving up a lot of runs. So does Baltimore's pitcher. I think if I was going to do anything in this spot, I probably would lean towards taking the over. But then I looked at the total, and that total is what? It's like 10 or something along those lines?
Yeah, it's 10. And Jackson Kowar over his career hasn't been bad. It was his first few starts this year that was really bad, but then the last start he's turned it around a little bit. So,
well, maybe I don't know. I don't trust them to keep it turned around. I feel like this is going to be a game where they score a lot of runs. Like I said, I did look at this spot. Kansas City does have a very small run line advantage, a very small power ranking advantage. So I was leaning them But when I looked at that pitching matchup, both pitchers can give up a ton of runs, and you just don't know if it's going to be yours or the other guys. You hope it's the other guys, but I feel like that's a game that could go over. But I'm not really into totals today. Toronto, New York Yankees, Garrett Cole versus the Toronto offense. 82% of the money is on Garrett Cole and the New York Yankees. This game is an interesting spot to me because Toronto actually has a much higher power ranking than the Yankees do. And the Yankees slightly score more runs at home than Toronto does on the road. And I know that Cole's pitching, but if I were inclined to take a side in this, I would take Toronto because I think maybe they don't have a 50-50 chance to win, but I certainly think according to the odds, they have a much better chance to win than like 33%. And that's what the implied probability is with where the line is right now.
Yeah, I agree. I'm not making anything official, but if I would take it, and I keep looking at it, that line is juicy for Toronto. I mean, the Yankees haven't been unhittable with Cole on the mound or anything, so and they're struggling too. So maybe they turn it around tonight. But Steven Matt's going for Toronto. They got a good pitcher too, so there's a lot of value here with Toronto.
I think there's a lot of value in Toronto. I mean, the game is it's a little more than a 50-50 game. I know that Garrett Cole probably puts the odds slightly into the New York Yankees column, but certainly the line. If they played this game 10 times, it's probably going to go 5-5, 6-4 one way or the other. And I feel like that with those kinds of numbers, if you're going to play this game, the right bet is, it doesn't mean it's going to be a winning bet, but the right bet is absolutely the Toronto squad.
Yeah, and those people that like playing the run line with the plus, you could get Toronto plus 1.5, just about even money. I mean, that's good. I just always think Toronto won't lose. If they're that close, they're not going to lose, they'll win, and I'll take the value with the money line. But if you're into that type of thing, I think plus 1.5, that's a good bet.
Tampa Bay versus Boston. Yeah, this is a big game for Tampa Bay. You got lefty versus righty. And Vegas doing what Vegas does. Everybody's underwater with the line. You can get Tampa Bay at minus 103, and you can pick up the Boston Red Sox at minus 104.
Yeah, this is truly 50-50 game, and I couldn't find a side that I really liked here. Boston's starting to play better, but Tampa Bay overall has been the better team this year, and even the pitching matchup, I'd prefer Tampa Bay here, but with Boston at home, it's too much back and forth.
Yeah, Tampa has the power ranking advantage, so they've been playing a little bit better. Their recent form is better than the Boston form, but Boston has scored more runs at home than Tampa Bay has produced on the road, so they're better at scoring at home. As far as the money is concerned, though, they're not. It's not 50-50. I mean, they're really picking a side and pretty heavily, aggressively. The majority of the money, 3/4 of the money and the tickets are siding with the Tampa Bay Rays. So maybe that's the spot to go. I don't know. Washington and Atlanta. This is another game where everything's kind of lopsided. 95% of the money is on the Atlanta to win by more than 1.5 runs. And when you look at the money line, more than 90% of the money is on Atlanta to win the game. I think Atlanta wins the game, maybe a minus 200 parlay entrant, but I don't find any value in this game.
So to get my plus line, I'm just into a 2-team parlay, and the Braves are one of them. I see them rolling in this game, so I'll take them as a win, and I have one other later.
All right. Philadelphia really beat the heck out of Milwaukee yesterday. And today it looks like they're pretty evenly matched up again, according to the book. In some books, the Phillies are the favorite. And in other books, the Milwaukee squad is the favorite team. So depending upon which way you look at this game, Milwaukee absolutely has the run line advantage. They absolutely have the power ranking advantage. But they certainly look like they were overwhelmed yesterday.
Yeah, I played some of those, I played 3 teams to be the highest scoring team yesterday, and who would have known that the Phillies against Brandon Woodruff would have been that team, and now they absolutely crushed them. This is one, again, it's 50-50, and I didn't have a strong feeling either way. I mean, the Phillies probably have the advantage pitching-wise, but they're not going to score like they did yesterday.
Yeah, I think that in this spot, if I were going to take any side, but I'm not going to take any side, but a majority of the people have taken the side of the Milwaukee team them collecting more than 80 cents on the dollar and a little bit more than 60% of the tickets. So smart money is backing Milwaukee here at minus 106. I think they probably win this game. They do have – Philadelphia is not the same team on the road. Milwaukee's the better team. I think over the course of 9 innings, Milwaukee probably finds a way to win this game, but I'm not interested in betting it.
If it comes down to bullpens, you really want Milwaukee. So it's all a matter of how far Nola goes in this game.
We already did the Dodgers in St. Louis. Sean, I money lined the Dodgers at minus 160. Sean took the minus 1.5 for minus 108 or something along those lines.
Yep.
Seattle and Houston. Here you got Seattle minus 162, well within my target zone. Houston. And then you look at Gilbert. Gilbert's pitched against the Houston squad twice, was either brilliant or bad. And the one time he was brilliant was in Seattle. The one time he was bad was in Houston. Today they are in Houston. The money is really undecided on this game. It's 60% of the tickets are on Houston, 50-50, a little better than 50-50 favoring Houston. So some people biting on the Seattle Mariners apple.
Yeah, I'm not. I'm actually going to bite the Houston train. I don't like taking them when they're a favorite here, but I really like Houston here. Jake Odozzie's been turning around, pitching really well. Houston themselves have, they've been hitting. They haven't been losing these games like they were. So I will take them versus Seattle here.
So the best you can get is minus 162.
Yeah, I'll take it. I was looking at the run line. That is plus, but I'm going to just take the money line and get the
Not me. I'm taking the run line. I feel like Houston's probably going to pound them. The run line differential, as I mentioned, there's one game today where the run line differential is just way too big to ignore. At home, they have a 60-40 advantage against Seattle. They score a ton more runs at home than Seattle manages to score on the road. And I'm horrible at this. I got to admit, I'm always on the wrong side of Seattle games, but I feel like this is a game that the Houston squad can just as easily win by 5 as they can by 1. So I'm going to go ahead and take them at plus 112 for another 25. And that wraps up my picks for the day. Although there were a couple of others that enticed me, but I'm not really willing to take them at the current line. Okay. San Francisco and Colorado. I felt like if there was a game Colorado was going to get in this series, it was yesterday. It wasn't the game that they were going to get. This is the game they were going to get whooped in, that's for sure. But today, the line is too aggressive in favor of it's way too aggressive in favor of San Francisco, minus 210, 20, 30. And then you're getting plus 196 for Chi-Chi, one of my favorite names in baseball, but not one of my favorite pitchers.
Yeah, so when I looked at the schedule today, there were 2 games that jumped off the page. The Braves were going to win and the Giants were going to win. So I put them together in the parlay and got plus 104. The team matchup is just a disadvantage. Logan Webb against Chichi Gonzalez is a big-time advantage for the Giants. So Giants should roll here.
Yeah, you can get minus 2. I mean, the line moved, the run line moved from 1.5 to 2.5 wow. for San Francisco. And you can get plus 100 if you think they're going to win by 3. I personally don't think that's a number that I would take. But even still at minus 2.5, it looks like more than 90% of the money is on the San Francisco to win by at least 2.5 runs. Crazy. I certainly wouldn't take that, but some people have a Jones for action. White Sox in Oakland. I wanted to take the White Sox here because they do have the run line advantage. They do have the power ranking advantage, so they outscore them. It's close, 50-50 game, but I do feel like the White Sox are a better team than the Oakland A's are. And I'm getting a plus line to take them. And the simulator says that they got about a 56% chance to win. But this Lambert kid scares me a little bit.
Yeah, so I'm on the other side here. I'm taking Oakland. They have the advantage in the pitching matchup. The White Sox, like we say, they don't play that great against good teams. As an underdog, they're 11-20.
But the thing is, they tend to do pretty well against Oakland.
Yeah, well, that may be, but this pitching matchup and the way it's set up here, I like Oakland, and I'm going to take them money line.
Minus 126. I hope that they win for you, Sean, but I was almost on the other side of this bet because everything points to the White Sox winning this game. Texas versus Arizona. Again, I can't take Arizona. I just can't take Arizona with a negative line, and I just can't take Texas on the road. I mean, that's just two rules I can't break.
Yeah, I mean, Arizona should win this game, but that's ridiculous line to take Arizona. I was wrong. They're not favored in 20 games. It's 18. They're 10-8 as a favorite, Arizona. So this should be another one they win. They have the advantage with the pitching matchup and being at home where Texas is on the road. Texas has been playing okay when they have certain pitchers. Some of these young pitchers they got have been impressive, but they're still only scoring 3 or 4 runs in those games too. So Arizona should win, but I don't know how you work them in there.
Yeah, well, it's pretty close to 50-50. It's a little bit more than 50% of the money is on Arizona. A little bit less than 50% of the money is on the Rangers. And it looks like it's tilting a little bit more and more towards Arizona as we approach game time. So I just can't. I mean, Arizona and -1, any Arizona and a minus symbol anywhere. And I'm just, I'm turned off. Los Angeles and the San Diego Padres, another game where the line is bouncing around between -2.5 for the run line on the Padres side.
Yeah, so I looked at this game this morning. San Diego was -400 in the money line, which was absolutely ridiculous. They probably win this game, but I mean, with the pitching matchup and stuff, it's not -400 material. I was actually looking at the Angels for some value there, but at +245, I'm not going to play the Angels.
There's no value in losing money, Sean. They
when it was
Snell as a second half.
though.
Snell is a second half pitcher, unquestionably. When you look at his career splits, he's much better after the All-Star break than he is before the All-Star break. And then, I mean, they're just a much better team at home than the Angels are on the road. This is probably the second biggest run line differential game on the night. I can't go -2.5 runs, but you might even think about adding the San Diego squad to your 2-team parlay to make it 3 teams to see if indeed you get some value for that. I don't know if you'd consider that or not, but that's what I would think about doing if I were you.
Yeah, it's just, I don't know, that -310 in this game, it's just way too inflated for me. I'd prefer the other 2 teams at those odds than this one.
Well, I'm just saying maybe add it to your parlay.
Yeah,
I don't think there's much chance that the Angels are going to win. I mean, it's baseball. There's a chance they could win. They're out on the field playing the game, but if both teams play to their potential, it's not a close game at all. Especially when you consider the pitching matchup. Snell has been, like I said, really dominant in the second half of the year. All right, Sean, just to kind of recap what I did, I put $25 on Cleveland to win on the money line. I took the run line in the Houston game, got, I think, +110 there. And then I also jumped on the Los Angeles Dodgers before that line moves too much in their favor with J.A. Happ on the mound. I expect the Dodgers to score and score a lot. So -160 is more than a fair price. On the edge of taking the White Sox, which is the opposite of Sean. What else did you got, Sean?
So I got the Dodgers -1.5 at -108. Sanford and Atlanta parlay at +104. And then Kansas City to beat Baltimore -116. And then that Oakland White Sox game, I took Oakland -126.
Fantastic, Sean. Like I said, tomorrow, probably tomorrow before the show, I'm going to put up my power rankings for the NFL and then go ahead and make a quick description tomorrow on how I use them to go ahead and create my own lines. And it's not something I created on my own. It's something I learned from reading some literature from a gentleman who used to make the lines in Las Vegas at one of the houses there, one of the sports books. So if it's good enough for the sports books in Las Vegas, it's good enough for me. I've used it for the last couple of years successfully as a good way to target games and then go ahead and do my research in there from there to see if indeed, and do my own projections to see that everything lines up. And if they do, if there's a certain spread, then I'll go ahead and make that play. So we'll talk about that tomorrow. We'll also talk about some baseball again tomorrow. I don't think there's maybe some World Cup qualifying soccer if there's something there that we like. And then, of course, on Thursday, we'll be ready for some football, Sean.
Yeah, exactly. And then go over to MoneylineMadmen.com. Some people are over there now putting up their picks. One guy's on there, Trevon. He's got some UFC picks. So go over there, discuss what you got, and look what
just go over and register. I mean, the idea is for everybody to share their thoughts. If there's something that teach everybody, right? Let's help everybody become better players because that's the point. And also to encourage everybody, because when stuff goes sideways like it has for me the last couple of days, you can sometimes, it can frustrate you, it can make you angry. And, to know that, the cliche that you're not alone, that it happens to everybody, even the best of sports bettors. can make you, not lose confidence. And I feel like if you lose confidence, you might as well just take a couple of days off, which I was pretty close to doing today. But, I know how the math works, and I've been through it for years after year after year. So pretty confident that I'll rebound shortly. Anything else, Sean?
No, I think that's it for today.
All right, folks. Till we come back tomorrow, talk again a little bit about the NFL as we get ready for the 2021-2022 season. Till we catch up again in 23 and 30. Good luck, everybody, with your bets, and may they all be, of course, winners.